Harry Kane's not fit.
Right.
Harry Kane might play. I personally don't care. But he's not fit. Shouldn't have played in the Champions League final. At best, should have came off the bench. We discussed it in the show till the cows came home. But for whatever reason, Pochettino decided to start him. Ain't a big issue if he starts him or not for England, because it's not the biggest game.
But at the end of the day, Craig, you still want to win. You still want to win.
As a professional, as someone...
I understand that.
I mean, if you're Southgate... So there's kind of two things here. So, I agree with you. Kane shouldn't have started the Champions League, and he probably shouldn't start in this game. But Gareth Southgate, if you just look at the squad, has taken players that shouldn't be anywhere near this squad because he's loyal. So just the fact that that's the way the guy is, you know Harry Kane's going to start when he shouldn't. So there's a mistake straight away.
The one thing Southgate's built up is momentum, as you know, as an Englishman yourself, off the back of the World Cup. I'm not saying a media darling because he's worked at it. He's worked at honing a relationship with the media for him and his players. And there's been an openness about England where there wasn't before. It was very much sort of fix your bayonets and watch out for those horrible journos and the gunny stitches up and all that sort of stuff. And, it does go on. But, I think if you can be a bit more open, then it happens less. And I think there is momentum for England. There is a positivity for England about the players that have got coming through. And for that reason, they will want to keep going and to win this competition. It's not kidding myself. They won't be going back to the clubs with a photo of them holding up the Nations League.
Is there not going to be an open top bus?
No, there's not going to be anything like that. But there's a fact that you keep the momentum going, and for one or two players in the squad, be it whatever country there is, there's an opportunity, as always, international football, to impress your manager.
Do you think the players will be capable? Do you think the players will actually be in a physical state?
It depends how many beers they've had over the last...
Well,
you know what I mean?
No, I don't mean the Spurs players and the Liverpool players. I just mean in general. The players that haven't played, at least the Spurs and Liverpool guys.
What would you and I be doing?
Well, we know the answer to that. So actually, are they going to be capable of putting on a proper performance?
Yeah. How long has that been? Without the guys that played?
It seems like forever.
Well, it's just over 3 weeks, isn't it?
3
to
weeks.
the season finish. Yeah, for those that weren't involved in the Champions League or the Europa League
finals.
finals.
For a professional footballer to just turn up and train with nothing at the end of it for 3 weeks is it's boring. And of course, if you're bored, then you're not putting into it what you should.
Jules, the boys mentioned the word momentum when talking about England. Of course, for the Dutch, it's trying to re-establish momentum after a terrible few years, very much in the international wilderness. Of course, didn't qualify for the World Cup, didn't qualify for the Euros either. So, having said that, do you think maybe they'll be taking this a little more seriously? The English, who are kind of playing with house money, given they finished in the semi-finals, of course, the World Cup last year.
Like a new era. No, it is a new era and a new dawn for Dutch football, for sure, with that young generation that we saw with Ajax, obviously, the likes of De Jong and De Ligt and Van de Beek. And then, like you said, the need of results and the need of doing actually better than what they did in qualifiers for the last two tournaments, because they failed, and they even failed miserably. So for them, even the miraculous qualification for the semi-final, like they did against Germany, coming out of such a tough group with the French and the Germans, is very positive. Going into this semi-final against England, whether to win and then qualify for the final, will be very positive as well. And then you can take that into your qualifiers for the next Euros, because they have to be there. This generation and Ronald Koeman himself cannot fail again to qualify for a big tournament for the Netherlands. So this is actually bigger than just the Nations League. This is actually putting them on the right track to then qualify for the Euros.
Very much against the Burley and Nicol school of celebration. So Wijnaldum said that he didn't have any alcohol after Liverpool's winning the Champions League because he was focused so much then on Thursday's game against England.
Words are cheap. Words are very cheap.
For Van Dijk, how do you set yourself mentally after being such a key part in Liverpool's win against Spurs going into this game? Can you keep that word again, that momentum going?
Yeah, I mean, professionalism comes in, but it has to be difficult from such a high to almost sensing that your rest is almost there.
Right.
And I think that's the important thing, is that players are now thinking about the rest as well and the recuperation, because the pre-seasons get shorter. I mean, used to be you'd be off till, I don't know, halfway through July or whatever it is, and now I don't think you can get June out of the way, and the clubs have got you back in. So it's so important to get rest, and I think players are thinking about that. So I'm sure for Van Dijk's got one eye on that as well, but he'll be one to lead he'll be wanting to finish the season with another high in terms of them winning this competition, because everything this guy Stevie touches at the moment is turns to gold.
Yeah, and we're talking about, will players be physically in shape for this? If there's one guy is absolutely at his peak, it's Van Dijk. So even the remotest chance that he lets it slip because he's been on such a high in the Champions League final, he's still going to be ahead of most of the others anyway. So as far as Van Dijk's concerned, I don't think he misses a beat, to be honest.